JBN, we keep you informed. Kingston and the St. Andrew communities under surveillance. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced a list of Kingston and the St. Andrew communities under surveillance due to COVID-19 spread, not epidemiologically linked. We're also monitoring communities in Kingston and the St. Andrew, where we are seeing a number of active cases emerging, Holness said. The Prime Minister was speaking during a virtual press conference at Jamaica House. Holness said the Ministry of Health has advised the government of growing concerns in the communities of Duane Park, Patrick Gardens, Pembroke Hall, Corville Gardens, New Haven, the Halfway Tree area, Uwenden, Arlene Gardens, Mullines Gardens, State Gardens, Zadie Gardens, Constant Spring, Barbican, Meadowbrook, Havendale, Delacree Park, Olympic Gardens, and Waltham Gardens. If you're going out in public, wear your mask. If you have to take public transportation, wear your mask. If you're ill with flu-like symptoms, respiratory challenges, if you're coughing, sneezing, stay at home, reach out to the health services. If you're in a gathering of no more than 20, then ensure that you're in social distance, the Prime Minister advised. Man killed in St. Elizabeth crash. One man is dead and two others are being treated at hospital following a motor vehicle collision on the Park Main Road in St. Elizabeth yesterday. The dead man has been identified as 27-year-old Romaine Foster of Paradise District in the parish. Reports from the Santa Cruz police are that about 11:15 a.m., Foster was a passenger in a Toyota Wish motorcar that was traveling towards Santa Cruz. The driver of a Toyota Yaris motorcar, which was traveling in the same direction, allegedly attempted to make a U-turn and collided with the Toyota Wish. The police were summoned and the drivers of both vehicles along with Foster were taken to hospital where Foster was pronounced dead and the two men are being treated. Investigations continue. Mayor Richard Query confirms COVID-19 positive test. Mayor of Port Maria Richard Query says he has tested positive for COVID-19. In a statement this morning, Query said he self-quarantined last week after feeling unwell. Last week I wasn't feeling well, and in an abundance of caution I self-quarantined and made contact with the Medical Officer of Health, MOH, for the parish of St. Mary. The MOH arranged for me to do a COVID test. Unfortunately, the result came back positive. I have been cooperating fully with the health department and have been in isolation at home since, the mayor said. I have decided to make this public because a significant number of Jamaicans believe that COVID not keep. But I'm urging everyone to take the necessary precautions to protect themselves, their families, and by extension, the general public. I implore all Jamaicans to exercise personal responsibility. I look forward to recovering fully so I can continue to serve the people of the Richmond Division and the parish of St. Mary, continued, adding, build back together stronger. 6 men arrested, 2 guns seized in Clarendon. 6 men were taken into custody following the seizure of 2 firearms and several rounds of ammunition along the Bustamante Highway in Clarendon on Sunday, August 16. According to the Maypen Police, at about 8 p.m., lawmen intercepted a motor vehicle with 6 men aboard. The vehicle was searched and 2 9mm pistols with 12 rounds of ammunition were found under the carpet of the front passenger's seat. Their identities are being withheld pending further investigations. Man charged for allegedly attempting early morning rape of woman. The swift response of a patrol team from the St. Andrews Central Police Division led to the arrest and charge of 42-year-old Kevin Robinson of Stanton Terrace in the parish on Friday, August 7. Reports are that about 2:30 a.m. Robinson, armed with a machete, allegedly broke into a woman's house on Slapin Road in St. Andrew. He reportedly attempted to rape the woman. During a struggle that ensued, he allegedly used the machete to chop the woman several times. An alarm was made and he was apprehended by a police patrol team that was in the area. The injured woman was taken to hospital where she was admitted and later released. Robinson was subsequently charged with burglary, assault with intent to rape, and wounding with intent. He is booked to appear in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court on Friday, August 28. Over $300,000 in car parts stolen in St. Elizabeth, 2 charged. Two men have been arrested and charged with shopbreaking and larceny following an incident in Santa Cruz in St. Elizabeth. Charged are 39-year-old Nicholas Campbell, otherwise called Nick, a car salesman, and a 19-year-old Shamar Smith, both of Lovely Point District, Santa Cruz. Campbell and Smith are to appear before the St. Elizabeth Parish Court on Wednesday, August 19. The police report that the complainant securely locked up his business establishment and left. On his return, he discovered that culprits had gained entry by forcing open a window at the rear of the building and stole a quantity of car parts valued at approximately $324,000. Following investigations, the police picked up Campbell and Smith, and they were subsequently charged. Steertown residents cry for representation in Miami Bay land dispute. The decades-old struggle for ownership of a 29-acre seaside property in Miami Bay, St. Ann, again erupted in street protest on Friday, as residents of the Miami Bay and the Steertown communities resisted efforts to permanently deny them access to the land for recreational and economic purposes. Friday's fiery demonstrations resulted in gunshots ringing out, allegedly by private security guards who had been assigned to the property. Head of the St. Ann Police, Superintendent Calvin Small, said that the police are investigating the circumstances under which the shots were fired. It is understood that dozens of shots were fired as security guards tried to disperse the angry mob that was demanding access to the land. Fishermen who are members of the Steertown and the Miami Bay Fishing and Recreation Association Limited, who have been using the property since the 1980s, still have their boats and other fishing equipment on the property and were not allowed access. The ownership of the land is being disputed. The fishermen said that the land belongs to the association and are resisting any effort to evict them from the property. Residents said that the security guards and the police personnel who were still at the location on Saturday afternoon effectively denied access to the 45 fishermen who are members of the association, as well as regular beachgoers who go there for recreational purposes. Residents from Miami Bay, Steertown, Droxall and Davistown and other communities use the beach from time to time. We, the people who have been using the property from back in the 1980s, want to maintain access to the land, Ricardo Henry, vice president of the association, said. Henry said that the association has documents to prove its ownership of the property and is currently seeking legal representation. Reactions to the latest effort to deny the public entry to the property were fierce. Devon Taylor, Steertown resident who currently resides overseas, has accused the government of abandoning the people it is charged to serve. The community is just in uproar in what seems to be some kind of covert approach, not even council representation, mayoral representation, in the context of a legal framework to work something out with the community, and that is a concern the community is having. Absolutely no representation, Taylor said. Engagement of the mayor and the councillor was met with a harsh pushback, so the people have to be taking matters into their own hands because the leadership that is supposed to be representing the people are fully aligned with the so-called ejection, and that is a huge problem, he added. Taylor said there had been no meeting to discuss the grounds except one called by the St. Ann Municipal Corporation, which he claimed was to push it down the people's throat that hotel must build and is the Mandem land. The community is saying, we don't see fishermen's rights being protected. We don't see our recreational rights being protected. We don't see vendors' rights protected, Taylor said. Some individuals have been offered $100,000 to vacate the property. JLP selects second Northeast St. Ann replacement candidate in less than a week. For the third time approaching the coming general elections, the Jamaica Labour Party JLP has selected a new candidate for Southeast St. Ann, with educator Delroy Granston being given the nod on Sunday to contest the September 3 polls. Granston replaces fellow educator Maxine Simpson, who was selected as the candidate on Friday, following the removal of Dr. Ryan Simpson for breaching quarantine orders. However, the Maxine Simpson selection was met with strong opposition from JLP supporters in the constituency, who were adamant that if the initial candidate was not reinstated, they would not be voting on election day. According to JLP General Secretary Dr. Horace Chang, the Executive Committee of South East St. Ann met and selected Granston on the basis that he was the best person to carry on the work of Dr. Simpson. The executive decided that he would be the best person to keep the constituency together and carry on the work of Mr. Simpson, Dr. Chang said in a media interview on Monday. The new candidate is currently employed to Monique College and resides within the constituency, where he is well known and well established, according to Chang. Granston is expected to be nominated on Tuesday and to square off against the incumbent Member of Parliament MP Lisa Hanna in the elections come September 3. The latter is, however, expected to again be a runaway winner in the constituency, as South East St. Ann is considered a sure seat for the opposition People's National Party (PNP). The political developments in the constituency grabbed national attention on Thursday when Dr. Chang said Dr. Simpson recently arrived in the island from overseas and did not adhere to the COVID-19 protocols, which required him to be quarantined at home for a period of 14 days. Chang, who is also the Minister of National Security, said the JLP was left with no option but to replace Ryan Simpson. We had a matter we had to deal with. It was not easy to deal with, but we had to. All leadership in the country have to recognize their responsibility to ensure that the laws are obeyed in this fight against the pandemic. There can be no exception, no privilege to anyone, Chang outlined. In the face of growing opposition from Labourites in the seat over Ryan Simpson's removal, Maxine Simpson, the council caretaker for the Bensonton division in the constituency, was given the go-ahead to represent the JLP in the seat. At that time, Chang declared that both Simpsons will be working together to ensure that the constituency organization will not be damaged. But that declaration was amid a protest staged by party supporters in the town of Claremont in the constituency on Friday, in which they vehemently objected to Ryan Simpson's replacement. To better mend all its fences in the seat and unify the JLP supporters, Granston, who is said to have the backing of Dr. Simpson, was selected as the better representative to run on the JLP's ticket in the constituency. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.